In this chapter, we're going to look at configuring tables. And tables are super easy to master once you learn the elements, the tags that you need to create the tables. So let's start with just an overview of what a table is. A table consists of rows and columns. Columns are the parts that go up and down. Think of Corinthian columns, columns on a house. Rows go across. Row, row, row your boat across the screen. Where a column and a row intersect is referred to as a cell. So here is a cell called school attended, here is a cell called years, here is a cell called degree awarded. Okay? We are going to recreate this table. So let's open up a blank document and save it as hp8-1.html in your Chapter 8 student files. And then I'll use my keyboard shortcut of !tab to insert the required contents. Let's call this practice table for our title. And then we'll just go down to the body. Now, every table has to start with a table tag, okay? So all of our rows and columns will exist inside of these table tags. Now, for the purposes of this project, later we're going to learn how to do this with CSS, but since we're just getting started, we are going to apply an attribute of border, if I can spell today, and set that to 1, okay? Now, this should be highlighted. If you tried to run this through the validator, it would tell you this is wrong because it wants us to do this with CSS, but if we don't it's just going to be easier for us to see where our cells are, where our rows and columns are, okay? So typically when you have a table, you are first going to start off with some kind of caption, okay? So inside your caption elements, in this case, we're going to have school history table, okay? So it's just what we want our table to be called. And if I can find, there they are. They were hiding from me, my little browser window. This is going to be what appears above and outside of your table. So this code is making this appear here. Okay. Now, after our caption, we need to start a table row. A table row goes across. Okay. So for a table row, we use the TR tag set. Okay, we've got a lot of tags to use with tables, so start trying to commit these to memory. Every row needs to contain the cells that are going to be inside those tables. Okay. Now, in this case, this is basically our header section. These are in bold and they are basically describing the contents of each column below it. So when we use those, we use a different tag called a TH, okay, for table heading, basically. So for those table headings, we're going to do school attended, and then we'll have another TH, and that's going to be for years. And then we'll have another TH for degree awarded. All right, let's see what we've got so far by viewing in the browser. And you see how those are bold, and we do have our 3 columns, okay? So now we are finished with this row. We want to start a new row below there. So we find our closing TR and we start a new row. Now these don't have any special formatting below that. These are just the contents, contain the contents of what we want in our table. So we include those in TD tags for table data, okay? TD. So all of the ones for our second row will be here. So I don't even know if I'm spelling this right, Schaumburg High School. Then we're going to have what would go in the years for that particular row, which would be 2008 to 2012. And then another TD for awarded high school diploma. Okay, so let's refresh. This is what we should eventually have. This is what we had before we typed that code, and when I refresh now. So see, the table has stretched to meet the width of our longest characters in each column. But it's kind of, just keep in mind you are typing the rows first, okay? So after that table row closes, we need our third table row, and that's going to contain a TD, table data, of Harper College, another TD of 2012 to 2014, and our final TD of Web Developer Certificate. Okay, now notice after that TD closes, our table row closed, and then our table closed. Okay, so if we refresh this now, we should have the completed table.